Gnostic Christianity or Christian mysticism, it's all about connecting with the earth, with our neighbor, with the animals. All the things that have consciousness are our near ones, is what that word translates to. So, of course, we all know going into nature offers deep grounding, and we are chronically ungrounded. That is something I've been saying. Like, for so many things, the solution is go into nature. You want spiritual clarity? Go on a walk, go into nature. You feel stressed? Go into nature. You have traumatic things that are coming up and you want to recalibrate, regulate your nervous system? Go into nature. So many modern issues can be resolved by simply going into nature. So many modern issues can be resolved by simply going into nature. So, yeah, there's a few questions that you can ask yourself after hearing this, like kind of taking a look at the Old Testament, at that specific verse through a new lens, through a Gnostic lens, and seeing what was actually being said and how modern Christians and even just people in the West have diverted from that original intention that God had for humanity and animals. So what changes when you look at an animal as a conscious being with its own relationship to God? What changes when you look at an animal as a conscious being that has its own relationship to God? What changes for you? If you suddenly realize that animals have a whole separate connection to Creator, just like you have your connection, what suddenly becomes clear? And would you then shift your behavior towards animals? So that is just a question that we're all working through programming. We're all working through a mindset that has been passed down from our ancestors when it comes to animals. And another good one, ask yourself, do I believe creation can teach me something directly about God? And am I actually making space to listen? Is there maybe somewhere a feeling where we think that it's more valuable to have these ethereal like experiences, these very disembodied experiences with spirit, with God, with angels, with all these things, that's more God, has more God in it than the tree, than your cat, something like that. So where is there a belief that may not be yours, that you have taken on accidentally, that's just the norm? Because the thing is, there's no shame in this. We are just unlearning inherited behavior. Where are we believing that creation is not as valuable to connect with God? And where could we make more space to actually tune into a tree, to tune into an animal, to tune into the elements? Those who are familiar with my other work, my Gnostic and Aramaic teachings, like the stuff I share here, they know what I mean when I say innocence. What I truly mean is neurological harmony with all of existence. I'm not talking about artificial morals and values, or again, the intellect, which humans thinks makes them superior to animals. And I've talked about that in other book chapters. And I'm going to be posting all of these chapters also in this membership. So where am I? That was about Lemuria. Now let's look at Atlantis. So Atlantis marks the first major divergence. Human consciousness began to specialize in technology, crystal grids, sound, and geometry, amplified abilities, and that was all great. It was wonderful. But after a while, that started to push out the true unaltered God frequency that connected us to other intelligent life. And yeah, like the animals, nature, elemental intelligences, stuff like that. So technological amplification started replacing innate unity consciousness with all life. This is where telepathy began to move from shared energetic awareness into directed signal transmission. And we see that the animals remained energy-based and humans began to drift away. This is where the story of Noah's Ark comes in. Noah was given a task by God to save all the animals and the originally innocent creatures. So